Hello YouTube, ZiggyNo here for another Sports Card Daily. On this day, July 25th, 1992, the 25th Olympic Games started in Barcelona, Spain. This was led and highlighted by the Dream Team, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. What was very significant about this is it helped globalize basketball and really took the NBA to new heights, really planted the seeds for the European invasion of players that have been coming into the market. Since then, I would put it this way, the Dream Team had a direct or indirect but major impact on Lucas even being in the NBA today. So really, really excited. Think about that. There's a lot of great documentaries out there. In fact, if you watched Sports Card Investor yesterday, you might have got a tip about something else coming up with Dream Team. Also, a reminder: 5 days till the NBA starts. I'm super excited. I really cannot wait. 7 days until the NHL kicks off. I'm excited about hockey. 47 days to the NFL. Long time, but still, it's right around the corner. Get ready for your fantasy leagues. Virtual Sports Card Con. That starts on Wednesday, so sign up. Again, free to register and free breaks every evening. I'll also mention the content provider of the day at the end of this video, so please stick around for that. Now on to the news. SGC announced yesterday they have delays, right? Delays in their submissions and so forth. My only comment on this is I saw a lot of videos and I think some people are frustrated, but I want to remind people that this should not be a shock, and they're also dealing with the same thing that everybody else is dealing around the world, and that's the virus and how it's impacting business. It's impacting, the supply chain and so forth. So you can't just hire more graders overnight. You can't train these people immediately. And if you did, you'd hurt the quality of SGC. So I hope you'll give them some patience and just hang in there. We're all waiting for our cards. Deep dive, I'm going to talk a little bit about a great interview I saw with Buster and Adam Lefkoe in a moment. But let me get on to what you missed yesterday. So Star Stock activity. I dropped a great video last night going over how I'm using Star Stock to buy and sell. It's more of a continuation of the earlier videos in there, so take a look at that. Sasha T did a great conversation yesterday, conversation number 4 with Shai and Michael from Instagram. It's a little long, but definitely worth putting the time in and listening to the highlights of there. They talk about buying and selling cards, trends in the market. I actually leave some quotes in there. You can follow along with my notes. It might help you as you're following along in the video. Slab Stock CEO chat with Buster yesterday. Really interesting. It's great to listen to Aaron talk about slab stocks and his history in the hobby, his playing around with soccer cards. Really, really exciting, and Buster did a great job in the interview. Yesterday, Card Hour was also dropping a video on, I think it's their part 2 on a soccer education series. Huge fan of this channel. If you're into soccer, and a lot of people seem to be, I strongly recommend Card Hour. His channel is growing very, very fast too, and I think it's only going to take off. The guy's reporting from Europe, so he has, he just understands this market. He's going over leagues with you, players, products, everything you need to know. Now, what's going on today? At 11 a.m., about an hour from the time this video will drop, Hobby Hotline is live. Always like watching that show because you get to participate if you'd like, and they always have some very, topical conversations. Later today, Personal Finance Dad and the Hobby Box will be live. They're doing a collaboration. I don't have a time confirmed, and as soon as I do, I'll probably put that out there, but just look for those guys, put an alert on, subscribe to those guys. It's always good to listen to the collaborations going on between these different content providers. At 7 p.m., I'll be dropping a video on the top 10 fastest growing YouTube channels. So I got some data, and I'll explain in the video tomorrow too where the data came from. I've been tracking YouTube channels. At the time, I was only tracking 18 channels, so I have 10 of the top of the 18 channels. Today, I track 128 channels. So things have changed. Next time, the top 10 won't be quite as easy, but it will be interesting to check that out. And then tonight at 10 p.m., Sports Card Live will be live with a great interview. I only say that because every interview Jeremy does is really good, so check that out when you have a chance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and toggle over here to this interview, and I'll leave the link below. This is between Buster and Adam Lefkoe. Now, some highlights that I want to point out, and you'll learn this in the video, but I'm going to give you some highlights and kind of some minutes so you know where to go. Adam is new to the hobby. Okay, he just got in the hobby about 4 months ago. He got into it in March. Now, here's what he tells you at about 7 minutes into the video. Gary V, he got in the hobby because of Gary V. He says he met Gary V, and he does this great impression about how Gary V, and says, hey, let's go for a double date. And he says, I think it's about 7 minutes in, that Gary V told him in the 3-hour conversation we're going to have together at dinner or whatever, if you're not sold on investing in sports cards, then he's failed. Or something to that matter. It's amazing because it definitely shows you Gary V, regardless of what he's talking about to his subscribers, the guy believes in it. He's talking to his friends. And I think a lot of us are too. You're talking to your friend going, man, I'm just telling you, you can make some money in cards. It was kind of like a secret before. but now it's kind of become hip. It's cool to talk about it. This interview is phenomenal because, again, if you don't know who Adam Lefkoe is, Bleacher Report, NBA on TNT, Lefkoe Show, he's a mainstream guy. And so at 16 minutes into the conversation, he does a great shout out to the Discord channels and the community, how he feels it's warm and welcoming, which he really talks about. He mentions Card Ladder, which I thought was really interesting, specifically in how he likes using Card Ladder. I did not see Card Ladder mention this. Maybe I missed it, but I thought that was a great endorsement for Card Ladder with Adam Lefkoe. At 18 minutes into the video, he is asked, some of his lessons learned, and he gives some great lessons learned. I won't ruin that, but again, you can fast forward. And his lessons, again, are from a guy who's only been in this thing for about 4 months. He'll also tell you a great story about how he bought his first card on like March 9th, right before the shutdown. And then when the shutdown happened, he thought, man, I screwed up. I shouldn't have waited, right? And then he looks later on, like a few weeks later, it's like, I think it's Gary Vee. He makes him, hey, look now. And the card's doubled in a few weeks. He's like, wow, Gary, you got my attention. He talks about other athletes. He makes a great comment at 23 and a half minutes into the video where he says, Gary Vee says he's talking to Dwayne. Well, I actually talked to Dwayne, and Dwayne says he's interested in cards, but he's not ready yet. And he says he's iffy on it. And Adam makes a comment about buying Dwayne Wade his own card and sending it to him. Or even better, I love this story, and Buster even loves this too, is he says, why not get Dwayne Wade to hold the card and sign the side of the cello pack that it's in or whatever, the card protector on it, and say, hey, this card was held by Dwayne Wade, so Adam Lefkoe could sell it on eBay, which I think is absolutely hilarious and a great idea. Okay, so he talks a little bit about, here's an interesting point. At 25 minutes in, okay, he makes a comment about he would like to do a card show and talk about cards, but because of the relationship with the NBA, he can only talk about Panini cards. So he can never talk about the 86 Fleer or other cards. Think about that. So he couldn't have talked about the Upper Deck $1.8 million card because of the relationship that the NBA has with Panini. That to me seems very constrictive as far as that relationship. And, one of the things I don't like about these monopolies, I'll talk about in a later video, but that was very insightful to me. He discusses after that, about 26 minutes in, that he wants this to go mainstream. He wants to support and do anything he can to get people into the hobby. And he even says this, he's not a flipper. And he makes a comment, I think it's about 19 minutes in, where he says, if you're coming into my house to just, eat my food, kick my dog and leave, I'm going to be angry. But if you come to my house and you're going to stay and live with me in the hobby and participate, people in the hobby are welcoming. And I can't agree with him more. Phenomenal interview, guys. So I really hope you'll watch this whole interview, but I'm trying to break down the minutes for you. He makes a comment at 26 minutes, buy stock. No one wants to buy a stock in some medtech, pharmaceutical, doohickey, whatever. He goes, people want to buy a stock in something cool. Buy a stock in Giannis, right? Which is kind of the theme of what Star Stock's trying to do. Again, not that I'm associated with Star Stock. I just think that's a great tie-in. At the end, about 27 minutes in, Adam gives some great advice. And his advice is taken as a guy who's, again, been in the hobby for a few months. I'm not going to ruin it for you. I do encourage you to check out this video, guys. Like I said, I try to find what I consider a real gem mint, interviews, lives, or educational pieces. This was well done. And I'm actually surprised it only has 370 views. This thing should go viral because there's just so much good stuff here. I believe Adam Lefkoe is also, he mentions he's been participating in some of the Discord channels, which I found awesome to hear. Okay, so let me go on just to highlight, in closing, some of the videos I talked about. So StarStock Activity Report dropped this last night. Again, really good video. I like StarStock. I'm not just promoting them because I guess it's selfish in a way. I want more cards in there so I have more people to trade with. But I just think it's a fun platform. People talking about all the problems they have and inconsistencies and issues. StarStock solves a lot of those, man. I sold a Bobo, I think. Okay, so here's a Sports Talk card live, or number 4 on Sasha's channel. 3 gentlemen there having the conversation. They need to add a little more age, don't you think? Maybe, somebody with a little gray beard to the channel, to the conversation. I'm just jesting, but I do really like these guys' perspective. The young guy there, I think he's 19. He might not be. He might be 16. But they're all knowledgeable, and none of them are bullshitting you, man. They're all giving you pure advice. Slab Stocks interview again with Buster. Good interview. I just like the content that Slab Stocks puts out there. Aaron and his team. So I'm very interested to see where Slab Stocks ends up. In a very in a very short time. Right? They're gonna be releasing their product soon. Oh, then here we go. Card Hour, basics on card investing. Another great point I forgot. He talks about the difference between cards and stickers, and this came up I think in Personal Finance Day, talking about the Panini stickers, right? The guy being in Europe, he discusses a little bit of that in his video. So again, big fan. Strongly recommend and suggest you take a look at that. And then lastly, I'm going to discuss my highlight of today, and that is Wax Museum. And I bring this to my attention. It's funny. I subscribe to Wax Museum. He doesn't put out a lot of content, right? Primarily because he's a podcast guy. If you listen to his podcast, that comes out pretty regularly and has a lot more subscribers. He uses this, I think, more or less, when he makes a comment, he wants to make a video, this is where he drops it. But I would like to see him make more content on the YouTube channel. I'm not as much of a podcast guy as I am YouTube. So I thought we'd make him today's, content provider of the day. If you guys haven't had a chance, go check him out. One of my favorite videos he does is this one right here on Super Broken. It is hilarious. The man's got some great, he's funny. So check him out. Leave a subscribe and tell him Ziggy sent you. All these channels you guys go to, just when you go to them, tell them Ziggy sent you. My goal here is to spread the word. I want to help all these channels. I want to help myself too. So if you haven't already, subscribe, right? But I really want to get the word out. Do me a favor too. If you know of something going on in the hobby, something live, some new article, something new, feel free to message me on Instagram. That's at Ziggy's Breaks, which I'm not a breaker. There's a long story behind that. I'll explain about that later. Ziggy's Breaks, or Facebook. But reach out to me. I'd love to hear any updates. I'd like to get to the point where I can tell you every day of every live event that's coming up that day and every live event you missed the day before, right? There are also other things I want to catch too, but the live events I think are critical. They're really valuable to the hobby because people get information. Is very important. I'm babbling way too long. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy the hobby.